Good morning. Welcome to Reiki Wednesday. I'm Jamie Lee of Animal Bonds. Thank you for joining me this morning. So I have been asked the question, does Reiki work every time, or is there ever a time that Reiki doesn't work? And I guess I would have to say it depends on your definition of work. So Reiki will always create a space of love, of compassion, of joy, of healing. So that will always happen. However, some things that can affect this space as to whether or not you're going to see the results that you expect are exactly that, your intention. What exactly is the intention of the person offering, becoming Reiki, and the person and animal receiving the Reiki? So if I'm working on someone, an animal who maybe has been abused or they have trust issues, the first time I come in and create this space of love and joy and Reiki and become Reiki, they may be unsure. They may not accept it. And that is totally their choice. And the same goes with people. And I've worked on people, and if they don't believe that it's possible, even though I create the space, they are not going to see the healing effects because they have the intention that it is not going to work. And that's the thing about Reiki. That's the thing about all of us, whether we're humans, whether we're animals. Our intentions will determine the outcome of everything. Not just a Reiki session, but of our life. So if the proper intention isn't there, if the person doesn't want it, if the animal's afraid of it, it's not going to work. Now, does it mean it's always going to be that way? No. A lot of times with animals, especially animals that come from rescue world, they may not accept the first time or even the second time. But if I just go back and offer it and just tell them what I'm there for, let them know that it's totally up to them if they accept it or not, then by the third or fourth or fifth, who knows how long it's going to take, but they will start to open up. Especially animals, they usually open up quicker. Once they discover that what they're feeling isn't going to hurt them, that I'm safe, they'll begin to open up to this healing energy much more quicker than humans do. So as long as the practitioner respects the person or the animal's right to say no and understands that that may change. It's no for right now, or it's yes for right now. Maybe they've said yes and this time they're saying no. As long as you respect that, then you can go ahead and Reiki works. It's just remembering to honor the decision of the individual. But if I become Reiki, I will always create a space of love, of healing, of compassion, of joy. Okay? Another reason it may not work, as we talked about, is the expectation. And I've told this story before, but I think it's worth repeating. I had a betta fish who was quite sick one time, and he had been on the bottom of the tank for 3 days. And I had been doctoring him. I'd been offering him Reiki. I'd also been giving the medications that were needed. And he just didn't seem to be getting any better. So one night I came home, and I thought, okay, I've really got to help him. He needs Reiki, and we have to heal him. So I scooped him out and put him in this little cup, and I sat on the couch. And for 45 minutes, I focused in on offering him Reiki. And at the time, I wasn't just becoming Reiki, I was sending him Reiki because I didn't know any better. I've since learned that's really not the way to do it. But that's what I did. And the minute I took him in my hands and held the cup, he began to swim. And he went around, and the cup was about like that. It was just a little cup. And he swam and swam and swam in a circle for 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, I was thinking, okay, he's going to get better. And I put the cup up on top of the aquarium, and he immediately floated to the top. Now, did Reiki heal him in that instance? Actually, it did. And one thing about birth and death is it takes a lot of energy. And at this point, I was able to provide him through Reiki, through making that compassionate connection, I was able to provide him the energy he needed to make his transition. So I expected a totally different outcome. I expected him to heal, to be well, to live. When in fact, I did offer healing, and I offered him the ability to make his transition. And I'm going to tell you one more quick thing here today about how animals, when we work with rescued animals, when we work with abused animals, or if you adopt them and they came from the shelter, and sometimes we focus on their past, on their story, way too much. We focus on that to the point that we get lost in the grief. And if you're a rescue worker, it's very easy to get lost in the grief of the animals because there's so much pain that humans cause animals. And I was at a very intensive workshop, and one of our assignments was to go out, and we were working with animals, and we were meditating with animals and becoming Reiki with animals. And I went out, it was the last day. It was like we had like 2 meditations left to do. And I went to the animals that I'd been working with a lot, and those were the cows and the pigs that were at the sanctuary. And our assignment, our practice, was to do a heart bridge meditation. And basically, we visualized a bridge coming from our heart, and we invited the animals to come up on it, to walk on it, to just come near it, whatever they wanted to do, but to invite them in. So I did that. And who arrived in my meditation was this beautiful lion. And all of a sudden, the tears started to pour, and I felt such grief. I could hardly stand it. And I sat that way for a while. And then I thought, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm so sad. Something's wrong. I went over to the horses because they had always cheered me up, and nothing was working. So when we went back in and discussed what we experienced, the tears just flowed, and I couldn't help crying. And I couldn't explain it other than the grief of the animals, because when I was in with the animals, also was the buffalo and the gorilla. And all these animals have been truly abused by humans. And I was feeling this collective grief. So we talked about it. Everyone went around the room. It came time for the next meditation. And it was a similar meditation. I don't even remember exactly what that one was, but I do know when I started in, the lion came. And I was like, oh, no, not again. I can't do this. Because I was still very weak and vulnerable, and I wasn't sure I could handle anything like that again. And then in my meditation, I heard this voice as he was standing there in front of me, "Come with me now." And all I know is in my mind's eye, I was visualizing walking through a field of grass behind the lion. His tail was swishing back and forth till we came to an opening. And in this opening, all these animals started to appear to me. And it was very quick. It was wild animals. It was animals that I share my life with. It was animals that have transitioned, that I used to share my life with. And then I got this great sense of joy and peace and calming. So it took a while. I wasn't able to really process that for a couple of weeks. And I realized that yes, there is this great grief that humans have caused the animals, and we've caused each other. But if I am to be effective, if I'm going to offer a place of love and compassion and healing, I have to be able to go to where the animals took me that day. And that is a place of joy and love and compassion, and stay in that center. And to me, it's like the eye of the hurricane. And so when you have a hurricane, you have all these high winds and all the damage and destruction happening in the outer bands. And then the eye comes over, and it's a perfect stillness. And even the pilots who fly into them say the eye is the most beautiful thing they've ever seen. And then the outer bands come again and there's more storm. So for me, living a life of Reiki is learning to live in the eye of the hurricane, where there's love and joy and compassion and beauty. And the more I live there, the more I practice there, it is my belief that those bands will get smaller and smaller. So today, as you go out there, watch your intentions. That's the one lesson that everybody can take away from Reiki, whether it's human Reiki, animal Reiki. Watch what your intentions are and just become Reiki. Whoops. And there we go. We had a little crash this morning. So that was not my intention. But as you go out today, become Reiki. I know, Christine, huh? And just experience what the animals are sharing with us. And so I want to thank everybody who joined me today. Christine, Rosemary, Cheryl, you all joined me live. I really appreciate that. And I hope that you have a beautiful day. And if you're watching this live or if you're watching the recorded version, feel free to share this video, to leave comments, that type of thing. And if you have any questions that you'd like to have answered about Reiki, animal Reiki, please put them down in the comments and I will get to them next week, because I will be back next Wednesday at 6 o'clock for more Reiki Wednesday. But until then, I wish you a beautiful day filled with Reiki and blessings. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.